Welcome to Istanbul. It's one of my favorite cities in the world, and I've been here a few times. So what we're going to be doing is something a little bit different. We're going to be doing it more like a local, just exploring neighborhoods and seeing what's out there. The Blue Mosque, the Hagia Sophia, all of that stuff is amazing, but I've seen it before, so we're going to be doing something that I haven't done. So let's go.
After driving by some pre-game festivities for the local football team, we're headed to Taksim. You don't know Istanbul at all, or if you visited here a million times, Taksim is the place to go. It's always changing, always different. There's millions of people, and there's millions of things to do. Tonight, we've got two goals. Visit the Galata Tower and get some amazing Turkish food before our baby gets tired. Luckily, neither of these feats should be too hard. The street we're walking down right now is Istiklal Street. It is the heart and soul of Istanbul, and at the end of this street, we will reach Galata Tower, and lining this street are thousands of world-class restaurants. And in Turkey, one thing that you get in Istanbul that you can't get anywhere else is an insane variety in the types of Turkish foods that you can try without going more than a couple blocks. You see, right on Istiklal Street, you can find Turkish cuisines from all over Turkey. Traditionally in Turkey, you're only able to sample cuisines in select villages or cities or areas. For instance, if you go to Mersin, which is where we're coming from, one dish that you can pretty much only find there is tantuni. It's this like Turkish take on Mexican wraps. You've got this nice specific flatbread. It's mixed in with this sort of ground beef that just tastes spectacular. You put some lemon on it, you put a little bit of onion, some parsley in there, some isot, and it just tastes amazing. It's got a little bit of spice to it if you want it to. And it is perfect. It's spectacular, and you can't find this anywhere else in Turkey except for Mersin and Istanbul. Having come from Mersin, though, tantuni is now what we're going to be going for tonight. This is the Galata Tower, by the way. We made it to the end of the street. The baby is perfectly happy, and now it is time to settle on what to eat. After a lot of debating, we stopped for some mussels, which only my wife had because I'm allergic to shellfish, and then we went and got some baklava, but I didn't record that because everything ran out of batteries. So let's move on to the next day.
Cool car. All right, and just like that, we're in the colorful neighborhood of Balat. So Balat's an older neighborhood. It was, once upon a time, it was more Greek and Armenian and Jewish. Now it's just a mixture of people from all over. It's got these really colorful houses, though.
It looks spectacular and really brighten up the area. There's also a ton of people taking Instagram photos in front of them.
All right, so after walking around for a bit, I'd say Balat's definitely a cool place. There's a lot of different architecture here that you're not going to find in a lot of Istanbul. It's a little bit more run down in places, but some of the buildings are really well done. Painting them all sorts of bright colors. You got pink, blue, yellow, all sorts of crazy colors, and really makes for a vibrant picture. So if you're looking for an Instagram picture, Balat might be the place to come. But yeah, if you like architecture, it's also a cool place to visit. Not all of it is completely up to date. There's still some buildings that are a bit run down, but overall it is really cool to see, and it's a piece of history. So that's the Balat neighborhood in Istanbul. So yeah, it's a very colorful neighborhood, some amazing architecture, and as we were leaving, we didn't get a chance to see this, but it does have some very like cute cafes, antique shops, and just a really nice walking street. I'm going to show you some video from that, but yeah, if you get a chance, that's definitely the street you want to go to. We went to just those Instagrammable houses, which are cool to see. But I think overall, you really want to be you want to go to the cafes, you want to go to the antique shops. That's the street to go to. That's definitely where most of the tourists are, and that's where you should be going. So now we're headed to Karakoy. So the big reason I want to come here is they've got this like umbrella street. It's only, from what I've seen, it's only like a block, but it's supposed to look really cool, and it seems like it's got some really nice bars and cafes in there.
Our daughter was asleep, so I went on ahead, and this street is exactly what I thought it would be. It's just the perfect place to relax. There's no cars, it's all pedestrians, and it really has that chill vibe I was looking for.
Those umbrellas look amazing in photos, amazing in videos, as you can see. So I definitely recommend it, and the places there are actually pretty reasonable. Drinks aren't too much. You're talking about 80 to 90 liras for a beer, 40 liras if you're looking for a milkshake. Pretty decent. I mean, it's nothing to write home about, but at the same time, it's a great place to go get some pictures, take a nice little pit stop, and then continue on with your adventures through Istanbul. Now on to Babik. I don't know. Maksimumdan yaz moda kampayı, maksimum mobilden kamp. All right, so brief change of plans. We're going to be going to Ortakoy instead, which is a Bosphorus sort of adjacent neighborhood. It's literally right along the Bosphorus. So we're going to be getting some amazing views. Babek was a little too far away for a 5 o'clock appointment that we've got. So going to Ortakoy instead.
Besides for a beautiful view of the Bosphorus in Ortakoy, you'll be able to find a lot of handmade clothing and jewelry for purchase if you're looking for the perfect souvenir. And it also is known for having amazing kumpir and waffle, but don't expect American waffles.
All right, and right behind me are those Ortakoy views that I'm talking about. Behind me you see the Bosphorus, and then across from that you see Asia. And that's the Bosphorus River. If you know anything about Istanbul, that's the river that sort of gives it all its power. It's the one way to get into Europe if you're shipping anything, and that makes it extremely important, not just for Turkey, but for pretty much the whole world, especially Europe. All right, and that is Ortakoy. So right along the Bosphorus, it's a great place for taking a walk or just sort of enjoying your time, but it is a bit of a smaller area. Parking there, we paid about 50 liras for 1 hour, so it's a little expensive, but it's worth seeing. Maybe not the best place to visit with the car, but definitely a good place to visit, especially if you're looking to take a ferry across the way.
With our time in Istanbul quickly drawing to an end, we had one more thing to do. And that was go to Asia, which sounds a lot more complicated than it actually is, because what we're really doing is just crossing the Bosphorus. We're going from the European side of Istanbul to the Asian side of Istanbul. Fun fact, Istanbul is one of the only cities you can do this in. So one of the cool things I like to say is I've actually been to 3 continents in under 12 hours. And just like that, we're in Asia. This is Balat Street. So this is one of the busier walking streets on the Asian side of Istanbul. We're here on a Sunday night, so it's not as busy as it usually is, but it's still pretty vibrant. This is a wet burger. It's probably been over a decade since I've had one. What a wet burger is basically a sloppy Joe. It's a nice sort of toasted bun. You've got some beef that's been ground up. You've got a nice little sort of slop on it, if you will. And of course, you can't forget a slice of cheese.
And that's it for Istanbul. We'll be back, but it'll be a while. So thank you for watching.